indigenous people and traditional indigenous territories. We acknowledge the Ohlone and the Ohlone peoples whose traditional and unceded territory we are gathered upon today. We acknowledge the overlapping histories of this region, including the continuing conditions of stolen indigenous land and power, in addition to the ongoing violence produced by the legacy of racialized slavery and oppression. We also recognize that the industrial complexes and the institutions with which we struggle within have been complicit in the erasure of history and continue to benefit from and perpetuate processes of colonization, broken treaties, racism, colorism, bi, homo, transphobia, misogyny, dispossession, and displacement. Let us take a moment to extend our deepest thanks, gratitude, and appreciation to our shared ancestors, present elders, and emerging elders. Let us reflect in silence and then be mindful of conducting our work using words, actions, and intentions that demonstrate the honor and appreciation we extend to the Ohlone people and all indigenous peoples whose lands we sit and stand and lay upon. And in honor of the traditional stewards of our lands, let us take a deep collective breath together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, deep breath in. Thank you for this moment of silence in honor of the traditional stewards of this land, the indigenous nations that have historically had this land. And so now, without further ado, I'll make sure that I make all the good announcements. We have wonderful new art exhibition here in this space. This is one of our wonderful pieces by kinfolks. This is entitled Henrietta's Garden. And so this is a preview exhibition with there more to come. This one will only be up until the end of the month. So first week of August, it'll go down. But in the meantime, we have it to enjoy and take a look at, and it gives us a little sneak peek of what's to come in the month of September. I want to make sure that we take a moment to honor the amazing Brandon and the brilliance that has brought us our Brandon Stroud, who is a two-spirited queer child of African diaspora whose ideologies focus on education. As the new program manager of the UCSF Black Wellness Center and the Black Women's Health and Livelihood Initiative. B's primary focus is creating and engaging programmatic opportunities for Black women, gender diverse bodies, and families. B is founder of BYoself Yoga and has been able to merge yoga and mindfulness throughout K through 12 collegiate and corporate environments. B hopes to invite individuals into conversations around body dysmorphia across marginalized communities, while also highlighting the livelihood issues Black and Indigenous bodies face on a daily basis. As peace is not a silent journey, Brandon has continued training and learning about holistic wellness practices to support these communities through hip-hop theory, connecting the impact post-traumatic slave syndrome across history, and yoga. B hopes to bring engaging dialogue across the concept of radical self-care. Currently, B is working on finalizing their certification process to be a full spectrum doula and birth worker with a focus on queer and trans birthing bodies and support systems. B is also currently finalizing their last 200-hour yoga teacher training, placing them as an 800 certified yoga instructor with focus on youth, perinatal and accessible yoga and yoga across the lifespan, with a life of mantra of stay hydrated, eat your fruits and veggies. B continues to create change in capitalistic and corporate settings that hinder anyone's authentic self and personhood from being presented. Brandon's B, pronounced are an ally, all but preference is either Brandon or B to continue to highlight the gifting of names throughout one's lifetime. So welcoming Brandon B. Stroud to our wonderful event, our wellness event, and our Black Wellness Center here at UCSF. So happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here with y'all. Y'all know this is my now home away from home. Our private Black coffee shop, like I like to call it.
So here for it. Thank you so much, B. I appreciate you, and thank you so much for honoring us with your presence today. We are really very grateful. I have a little bit more I'll share later, but I want to give us a moment to go ahead and get underway. So I'll turn the floor over to you, dear heart.
Yes. Thank y'all for having me. I'm so excited about our Reflection to Connection. This is definitely dear to me because I feel like I started this wellness journey for Black college students, specifically when I was the advisor for the Black Student Union at the last university that I worked at, because they had nothing, right? Like it was just the Black Student Union and our fraternities and sororities. And so trying to find new pathways for them to just breathe, especially the predominantly white institution of the same students were always leading the organizations that we did have. The same students were always doing the work and trying to train their mind, not even train their minds, I can use a different word for them, educate them on the ways that, yes, you are a community member wherever you go, right? Like once you are part of this collegiate setting, you are also a part of this town's community. And so how are you creating presence in there, not only for yourself, but for the other people who may not ever get to go to college? And so that's where the term Blackademic came from originally, because I was like, we are Blacks in academic, and the world of academia is crazy, especially for Black and brown folk. And so I'm grateful to be here now because I think all of that has led me to being present with you all and supporting us in this role and in this space, this beautiful space. So if anybody's ever on Sutter Street, drop by, come see me because I got tea and granola bars for you. And so I'm always appreciative to be in spaces like this where we can just sit and breathe and recognize that we just need a moment to maybe not even have a conversation at times. Like we truly just need a moment to reflect and connect back with ourselves before we transition on to the next space. So yeah, that's been my journey, and I'm thankful for all of the yoga instructors that I have had have mainly been Black women, who have led me to this journey of understanding there's always more to do, right? And who are we missing when we host those conversations? Oftentimes, for the youth and the elders are always at the forefront because of how we either silence them once we get to a certain age and feel like we know best for these communities, or yeah, like how do we go from these vocalized adults to now being silenced from childhood to elder age, right? And so I'm really excited to be making those waves in the San Francisco area and in the Bay Area for Black bodies and queer folk and trans folk who are out here just looking for community. And how can we commune in unity and communitize together and tie all the things together for our people. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your ideology, your methodology and your practice. And yeah, we're looking forward to the experience of the Stroud.
Yes, I'm so excited. So today, what we're gonna first start off with, and I can pass these out too. We're gonna do a little drawing. Pass these to my other people, our audience in front of us.
Okay. So those of us who are there on Zoom, now's the time to
grab something to write with or draw on. This first activity is going to be called Grow With Me. And so this activity really looks at where are the areas of wellness that you want to start building newness in, areas that you want to keep yourself in areas that you're like, okay, this is stopping my growth. So for the first thing I want you to do is just draw a plant in a pot. So whatever your plant looks like, it can be a sunflower, it can be a monstera leaf, it can be an ivy leaf. Like I'm looking around at what we got in the center that I don't. It can be a fern. Whatever plant is in your mind space right now, I just want you to draw that plant, but make sure that you have a pot around your plant. So we're going to give you some time to do that. And while you're doing that, I want you to start thinking about the 5 areas of wellness. And those areas include your mental wellness, your physical wellness, your financial wellness, your emotional wellness, and your spiritual wellness. what those mean for you and what those look like.
I'm going to drop that in the chat.
Thank you. Emotional, yeah, I'll read it again. Emotional wellness, spiritual wellness, financial wellness, physical wellness, and mental wellness. And for those 3 areas, and this is some little homework for either in this project now or later if you don't get it completed while this activity is going on, I want you to think about 3 different things. A keep. So this is something I want to keep doing for my mental well-being and wellness because it's assisting me. Something that you want to start, that you've been like, oh, I've been wanting to do this, and now's the perfect time to start. And then something that you want to stop doing, that you're like, I could work on this space because I know if I stop doing this, it'll help better me in the other 2 spaces.
So something you want to
keep doing,
something you want to start.
Yep, and then something you feel like you need to stop doing that's kind of hindering your growth in those areas.
Okay. And this is what we need to keep thinking about while we're drawing our pot. Okay.
So as you're drawing, I want you to think about those 5 areas and then those 3 things. And I know they may be a lot right now, so that's why I was like, this may be some homework for the weekend to give you that space. And so, while you're thinking about all these other things, and that's why I said these other questions may be homework, in your pot, I want you to write things down that keep you grounded. Yeah, well, you don't, if your pot is small, it's okay. Write it around your pot. So the things that keep you grounded, right? So that could be family, that could be friendships. You could even put the people's names or the things' names that, like on a daily basis, I know that this is going to help me land again and feel solid. And then I want you to name your plant whenever you get a chance. Your plant cute. I found out the corner of my eye.
It's struggling.
And so a little background on this activity, I used to do planting a lot with my former students, or we used to go on alternative spring break trips.
Please come join us. Hi there.
Hi.
There's some little people in the space.
Yes. Welcome. We're live.
Cousin got her hair laid, y'all. Her brows going, so we gonna acknowledge you and your braids and your brows.
Thank you. Welcome
Yes,
to the space.
ma'am.
Happy to have you.
I'm gonna pass you.
Oh, you got something. You got something to write on. Okay.
You need a pen?
May need another piece.
Okay.
And I can fill you in on what we're doing. So we're doing an activity called Grow Me, or Grow With Me, and we're looking at the 5 different areas of wellness, which include, I can just hand you my piece of paper so you can have them. Mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, and financial. And so we had everybody draw a plant on their piece of paper with a pot on it. And so right now, they're just putting the things in the pot or around the pot that keep them grounded. So that can be like their family members, friends, go to the library, whatever keeps you sane on a daily basis. Like, I can always come back to this.
Right.
is what you want to like name in your pot or around your pot. And then for those 5 areas, we're just thinking about things that we want to keep doing in this area. Like, so say for your mental wellness, you are like, I listen to music for 30 minutes straight every day, and that's my me time. You know, I want to keep doing that. And then something you may want to start doing for your mental wellness is like, oh, I may have been thinking about going to therapy or doing some other things. So let me start looking into that. And then, you know, one of the areas of like, for a stop for mental wellness could be listed as like, let me stop like saying I'm gonna do this and then not doing it. Right? Like, how do I actually set up a timer for something, and then once that time ends, I stop doing that and move on to the next thing instead of procrastinating for it. So, yeah, that's what we're working on right now.
Happy to have you.
Yes, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Yes.
I'm happy that I walked into this.
Yes, me too.
So draw a plant, right?
Yes, draw a plan. And you don't like, and I told people it's probably not some of this part of this activity is gonna be homework because I know it's a lot in that activity for people to think about. But you know, that's the joy of it. Like, grow with me, so you can take your plant with you, like any other plant in life, right? Like, I'm taking this with me,
Right.
Yeah. So okay.
So we have our emotional wellness, spiritual wellness, financial wellness, and mental wellness. We're drawing our pot, thinking about things that we want to keep, something we want to start, and something we want to stop. And we're writing things down on the pot that keep you grounded.
Yes. And name your plant. You don't have to name your plant right now, but I think that that's such an important part, especially like Black folk who are into horticulture or into plant life. I think that many of us have been into our aunties or grandmas or somebody's home who just had plants growing up and every plant had a name, you know, and a lot of times those plants were named after either folks who were still living or people who had transitioned onto the ancestral realm so that they can be here. So I think, you know, naming those plants, even on the piece of paper, aids in us because we can call to name somebody. We'd be like, you know what, like this person would push me to get to my keeping my start and my stops, you know. And so, yeah, that honoring of us and the people who exist in us and our things and our plants' roots.
Beautiful.
He made it all deep.
Yeah, name it after yourself took us, child. It's definitely a few plants at my house named Brains and MB.
Hey, come on.
And I know they be confused, like, who you talking to?
For me right now, I'm natural. I like
Okay. Just want to, check in on people who present.
So grateful everybody can join us, welcoming West Virginia into the building, San Francisco into the building, Oakland into the building, and Merced into the building. Is acknowledging where everybody is hailing in from. Thank you for joining us.
Chicago just joined us.
Oh,
Hey,
Chicago.
Chi-Town just joined us, I think.
Sure is nice Chicago in there.
It was there too. See, look, it's the energy, it's the movement. Yes, especially Chicago in the summertime.
Oh,
It's a good time to go.
Oh yeah. Any other time, I'm like, okay, no, I don't have time. I get all pale. Yes. Yeah, it got you thinking, right? Like, dang, what does it look like? Which I think is important, right? Like, we have to do those check-ins, and I think oftentimes, like, most Black people don't, we just move. You know, we don't really separate ourselves from that movement in these 5 areas. We just know it has to get done. But trying to create a little bit more intentionality around how it gets done and why it's getting done, the need for it to get done, I think is the important part of like grow me or grow with me, because you can always come back to this plant and be like, I've grown in this way, just like a plant has, and knowing that the leaves are gonna die, like those, so the keep and the start and the stops may interchange or exchange or become new, and so having that understanding of how we grow as plants really reminds us to keep growing, like face the sun. If we need shade some days, like go have a seat, like do you need water? Are you staying hydrated?
That's mantra.
What are the nutrients of us eating those fruits and vegetables? Like not only the physical fruits and vegetables, but the things that we read, the things that we see, the things that we watch. Like how are we integrating those as our fruits and veggies of life as well?
Right, the fruits and veggies of life. I love that.
It was very crazy.
It was. She was like, I'm not trying to be the crazy. On the line. Yes. Did anybody want to potentially share? Okay, yeah, take your time. Yeah, we're not rushing your plan. Well, would you like to share? I saw you also contemplating. I saw like everybody look back down again.
What I want to
be
tell
like,
y'all.
yeah, like, do I want to share this?
It's not that deep. My plant's name is Luck, and I'm not good at drawing, so there's no flower that will. Anyway, there's a pot. I'll share, I guess, some of the areas. So I put in the area of financial wellness, to make more concrete goals, more investing in myself, like my own business that I always put on the back burner for everything else. And spiritual, to set time aside for breathing, because when I do, or whenever I do, I notice, it helps, but to be more consistent with that. And then some of the things that keep me grounded, of course, is my alone time, mama and my son, and yeah, my friends, near and far. So even being able to keep up with friends on social media and stuff like that helps me. That's what I'll share. And Luck is my nickname, so that's why.
Really?
Luck. So that's why I named my plant that, because it's automatic. That's what they call me.
Because you're just a lucky, brilliant human being, growing and thriving in the world.
I like that. This rule, keep that one. Yeah, that's why. That's exactly why.
Yes.
Exactly why. No, I used to be in a motorcycle club for like 5 years, and that was my name.
Oh wow.
I'm really? Yes, please give us this.
I'm glad I asked.
Yeah, you don't get down with the people on the bike.
I have many lives.
Really?
Lifetime.
Ooh, come back to that tea.
Yeah, we
All
support
right.
that.
I'm here for it.
Shout out to Nita for sharing.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you.
Absolutely, getting us kicked off. I'll keep going. I named my plant after myself as well. I named her Laughing Brook. It's my birth name. And I feel like in my pot, I have meditation, prayer. I have hope. That's what I hold to most. The ocean, which is my greatest place of respite. Compassion, which is what I need most for myself and in the world. Family, which is one that I'm growing and the one that I live within in my community. My love, which is what sustains us all in the beginning and end of many things, but definitely a grounding force for me in life. My psychic sensibilities is what gives me my rudder and gives me my momentum, and oftentimes monitors the tempo with which I move forward. I put money because I need more abundance in my life. And spirituality, because that's my core grounding force. My art, which is the core of who I am, and magic, which is the core of what I create. I put a little sun, moon, and star in honor of the babies in the present, past, and future. And some vines and some flowers.
Yeah.
So a little bit of ocean in there. So
Yes.
those are the things that walk in my medicine that I can
Thank you
pick
for
up right
sharing.
now.
Yes, that sounds like it's gonna be homework because you know we grow every day,
That's right.
every wake, every rest.
We got Love Laughing Brook. Who's next?
Oh, I guess I can go.
All right.
So I literally couldn't think of another name for my plant. All I thought about was Fred. So
Okay,
this is
come on,
Fred.
Fred.
Okay.
Come on, Fred.
And I just wrote some things down that came to mind. So I know just for spiritual and emotional, I'm an advocate for like therapy. So I will have my therapist on speed dial if I'm having a bad day or I just need to vent or talk about something that, kind of affected me. So just like check-ins with your therapist, you don't have to have anything major going on, but I like just to have check-ins, so maybe monthly check-ins or weekly check-ins, depending on what's going on. And then just like feeding my spirit with like positive things. So whether it be like reading inspirational books or listening to like podcasts, just something to like build you up and like maybe like motivate you or maybe even inspire you. Like being intentional about what I put in my body, like drinking more water. Like I got my little water canister.
Yes.
And if I gotta walk around with it, just try. And let's see, being mindful of like the people I surround myself with and who I like share my space with and my energy with. I feel like that's important, like when it comes to my emotional and spiritual well-being, because not everybody can, if you got people constantly being negative, I know life ain't easy, but sometimes, you gotta realize like where you are, like if your cup is full or if it's not, and if you got people just constantly like, you just like, I can't deal with that right now, I love you, but let's take a break or, whatever you need to do.
That's right.
And then just like finding time to like recharge, whatever that means for you, whether it be just sitting down, watching a nice show, or just staring outside at the whatever, looking at the birds, reading a book, going to work out, cooking a nice dish you like.
That's right.
And just being more intentional about where my money goes. And being unapologetic about that.
Hey, for the win.
I gotta spend my coin in this week, but maybe next.
Just being honest with yourself about it.
I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing. What's your name, friend?
Alexis.
Thank you, Alexis. Thank you for sharing. I'm Mona.
I'm breathing.
Sheeta.
Judy's behind you. So we also have our friends here in the Zoom room, and you can share out loud or unmute or share in the chat, whatever feels best for you or most authentic. Let's see here. Would anybody like to share aloud or in the chat was in our one.
Oh. I'll go. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Sorry.
I can hear you.
Okay. I'm a bit like, oh my God, this is amazing because I'm going to be returning back to UCSF after taking a year off. I'm a med student, and I was sharing with Ramona and Judy that it was really weird being here my first year and not really having any Black spaces to go to or like places to go that was like congregation. And Judy was like, we're working on it. And so I'm so happy and so glad that you exist, B. I'm like adding this to the list of resources that are going to carry me through. So thank you. Here, so I named my plant Alex after an uncle of mine. He's my favorite uncle, passed away. The concept of like plants being named after people who passed away sort of resonated. I thought that was really cool. Things that keep me grounded, I put here my brother, calls and FaceTimes with friends, breathing, yoga, hugs, laughter, the feel of air on my face, love. And I think a highlight for me in the wellness part of things is the spiritual. I put breathing and body connection. That's something I've been trying to cultivate. And it's something that is actually not easy for me to access, just given how much there is to work through there. And so in staying with it, though, I've started to feel more connected and grounded to myself, and it's really aided me sort of returning home, you know, to the space. And as a stop, I put, it's a little strange because I feel like when people talk about spirituality and spiritual connection, like I hesitate to sort of share, oh, like intuitively, this is what I'm thinking or feeling, even though I am Nigerian and I have like, you know, ancestral roots and things like that, but I was also raised Catholic. And so there's this like almost pervasive like detachment from that. And I have some shame around that, you know, like kind of having this like African and understanding like this Nigerian Igbo ancestral connection, and really connecting with it. And I'll find myself saying things like, oh, I feel that, or I hear this thing, and I'm like, oh, I don't have evidence, you know, or it's not in the Bible, or, you know, these ways of knowing that I've sort of through a lot of religious trauma, like we're taught to think of as valid. And so I think it kind of goes back to like body connection and thinking about maybe like for me, I would like to stop not feeling shame, but I would like to stop putting myself in spaces where I don't feel validated in sharing those spiritual, like those things that make up what I would now like to imbibe and cultivate as a part of my spiritual practice. And to start reading this book called Freshwater. Ree's reading it right now, and she texted me about it. And I've had it on my shelf and I've been avoiding it because I heard it's heavy and I haven't been in the best of spaces, but I want to read it. And yeah, thank you all.
Thank you
so much for sharing. Would you mind sharing your name and pronouns?
Oh my God, yes. My name is Ife Chukwu. My pronouns are they and she, they preferred.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for joining us. Happy to have you back.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to having you in person when you're back on campus. All right. Would anybody else care to share or in a position to share? We may or may not all be in a position, but I'm grateful that we're all here.
Yes.
Anybody else in the room or in our Zoom room care to share? Share.
Yes. If nobody else can share, I'm like, okay, fine. That's what I
We heard you shuffle a little bit.
Okay. I was waiting for the Zoom world. I didn't want to interrupt anybody on Zoom who wanted to share.
You're fine. Here we go.
Everybody, I want to make sure there's space for folks on Zoom to share. Okay. Well, I named my plant Lillian.
Hi, Lillian.
After my maternal grandmother.
Ashe.
And so I love the idea of naming plants. So thank you for that. Because I had.
I'm gonna call her today because she's been on my mind.
That's nice. Yeah, it just was like, oh yeah, I like that idea, and I had not thought of that before. So I appreciate the that wisdom, sharing that wisdom. And I had to draw a sun because I love the sun. So I had to draw a sun along with my plant. My plant, drawing is not my thing. So my plant kind of looks a little crazy, but I drew some flowers with my plant as well. And things that I drew around it are in the pot, include family. So my wife Cheryl, I wrote connections with my daughter Lachelle, conversations with my daughter Lachelle. There are things that ground me, laughter, lots of laughter, making memories with everyone in my life. Just those kinds of moments where you just are laughing and just realize this is going to be a moment or a memory. Music, dancing, good food, rest, therapy, lots of therapy. Visiting the water, spending time with water, and sunsets are some of the things that I have, and they just keep me grounded. And I put for all of the areas, emotional, spiritual, physical, mental, and financial, just continuing to invest in all of those areas and reminding myself that I need to invest in each of those areas and sort of looking for opportunities to invest. What does investment in those areas look like? What does abundance in those areas look like? And that's, I think, what I've come to over my life as my life continues, as I continue to grow. I continue to think about what does abundance in those areas mean for me? What is investment mean for me? And how do I continue to achieve that in different ways? And so that's what I continue to explore.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you so much, Judy. That was great.
It was. I appreciate everybody sharing.
Everybody's giving all this good love and sharing our experiences. Do we have anybody else who'd like to share? I know you were at work, but do you have a moment?
We appreciate it. Judy holding down tech support for us today.
Appreciate this. Carlicia, did you want to share at all, or you just want to stay in a place of observation? I see you're busy. It's okay. There's no pressure.
Yeah, I'm at work right now.
Yes, we see you over working.
So not trying to interrupt.
The duality, child.
Okay. Just want to also give an opportunity to jump in here while you're not cashing anybody.
No one's at the door. Okay. So I named my plant Lala. It was just the first name that came to me. It's so ironic though. I just adopted a kitten named Lucky, so I thought that was like really cool. As far as what grounds me, animals definitely do, in nature. So I work at the Merced Zoo, which is where I am right now. Prayer, spirituality, love and compassion, and yeah, those are some of the things that I wrote down. I guess like one of the things that I'm finding that really grounds me is prayer. My life, I'm also a PhD student, and so I feel like I have no time for anything between working and school. And the one thing I can do is like say a prayer while I'm driving to work or, just in the car. And I love to meditate and do breath work and everything, but it's like, I just don't have the time. But prayer is the one thing I can do to keep me grounded. I want to start like attending more groups like this, like wellness groups. So I think this is a really cool space. A while back, I had a friend, she just graduated from UCSF, and she sent me some stuff with the Black Wellness Center, and I was really excited. This was virtual, so I wanted to do more things like this. Definitely write more. And something I want to stop doing, I really want to let people go that negatively affect my energy. I feel like I'm such a caring person to the point where I kind of just take in whatever is coming at me with a level of compassion. But recently I realized that, like I have friends that will say things that hurt me. And I say out loud. So recently I wrote a letter to Oshun, and I asked for just wanting to have a soul tribe and people that uplift me, inspire me, that are kind and loving. And I'm just like, well, if I'm allowing people in my life that are negatively affecting me, like that's crazy. Like I'm not even putting out there what I'm asking for. So that is definitely something I want to stop doing and pursue peace.
Oh, I love it. Oh, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
that.
for
Yeah.
Shout out to Oshu. We've got a
Yes.
Yamaja altar
right behind you.
right behind you on the laptop. So thank you so much for being here. We look forward to having you again and again and again.
Yeah, thank you.
Be in the space with us. Glad you were invited.
Yes. Thank you all for sharing. I appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and give you our last activity so that I can transition us into our second activity. So our third activity was to create a playlist for yourself, a 7-day playlist, so a song a day. You don't have to think too hard of it, and that'll be like your weekly start to your playlist. So whenever you have time this weekend or space, and you're just like, these are my 7 songs, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, type of vibe. Especially as all of us were talking, right? And I definitely heard people like that release of others and other people's things. It's so hard, especially for Black women and Black queer and trans folks, because of the rejection that we already have facing from society. So we show up so heavily because it's like, well, if I don't show up, like, will you even acknowledge me any other time? And I recently shared a book that I was writing on in my past 2 years of transitioning to the Bay with Mona, and it's called Transitions, like poems for everyday seasons, because we're always going through that, right? We're always going through the growth process. We're always going through like, well, maybe I need a bigger pot, right? Like sometimes we don't think about that because we've outgrown those spaces, right? And this small pot ain't gonna do what I needed to do to allow my roots to grow, to allow me to extend above the ground. So yeah, I thank all of you for sharing that. Because the release is what we need in order to grow as well. Like that's one of those investments to understand where the abundance even lies. The next portion we're actually going to go to is in breathwork and meditation.
All right.
So I'm excited for this portion. I don't know if everybody's seated down or how you're seated, but I want, for the people I can see, scoot towards the edge.
We know you're working. But...
Yeah, you working over there. You keep working. But we breathing with you. And just find that space real quick for yourselves. Okay, yeah, we good. So I know we only have just a little bit of 10 minutes. I'm glad I gave y'all that homework. And I'm gonna take y'all through a story time meditation to close us out today. And before I start, I want us to do something. We're already feet sided. I want us to rub our hands together and create some friction. And if you feel safe enough to do so, you can close your eyes or lower your gaze. Everybody in the center with us, the doors are locked, so anybody gonna run up on us. So feel safe in those spaces for yourself right now. And I want you to place your hands somewhere on your body that needs to receive love. So whatever love feels like for you or is needed in this space, we send love to one another. We send love to our community. And we send love around the world that we know so desperately needs it right now. And we shake our fingertips out whenever we're ready. You don't have to remove that love too quickly. But we shake the love all around each other right now. And then we rub our hands again together. We place them somewhere this time, somewhere it needs to receive light or feel lighter on your body or in your present self. We send light to our family and friends who may be stuck in the dark and just looking for that community. We send light to the world. We send light to everybody joining us today. May you feel lighter, may you receive light, and may you be that light. And then we shake the light out all around us. And last time, we're gonna rub the hands again together. And this time, place the hands on the body where it needs to receive healing. So we send healing to our bodies. We send healing in all the aspects of the wellness that we hope to obtain. And we send healing to our beautiful Black community, near and far, all around the world, across bays and oceans. And we release our fingers out, sending that healing to everybody. You can keep your eyes closed. I want everybody to take a deep inhale for 1, 2, 3, and hold the breath at the top. And open your mouths and push all of that air out, sigh it out. I want you to take 2 more of these deep inhales. 1, 2, 3, and hold the breath at the top. And open your mouths and sigh it out. And on this last sigh, I want you to feel as if you're literally pushing a wave out of your mouth across the ocean water. So the deepest exhale you can have to release out of your body. So inhale for 1, 2, 3, and hold the breath at the top. Open your mouths and sigh it out. I'm going to tell you about a quick story about a farmer and a painter on the island. The farmer and the painter on this island were best friends. They used to work together and they had this little song. And the song would go, I'm working on a masterpiece, and I'm doing it with these own hands. This fate is not my destiny, but I'm shaping it with these own hands. Oh, and I give it my all. Oh, and I give till I can't give no more. I'm working on my masterpiece, and I'm shaping it with these 2 hands. So the painter would go around the town painting these beautiful murals, and the farmer would go around painting these beautiful gardens for the people to be nourished from and receive from. One day on this beautiful island, a storm came through and washed all the murals away and washed all the crops away. And instead of feeling defeated by what nature has caused, the painter and the farmer started the next day after the storm and that all the town people could hear. I'm working on my masterpiece, and I'm shaping it with these own hands. This fate is not my destiny, so I'm shaping it with these own hands. Oh, and I give it my all. Oh, and I give till I can't give no more. I'm working on my masterpiece, and I'm shaping it with these two hands. So I want to remind you all, you can be whatever you like to be in this life. You can be the plant that gets moved around, nourishing people from coast to coast. You can be the farmer whose own hands guide the plants into building nourish for those around them. You could be the tools that go into the ground to reshape what the earth around you looks like and feels like. Or you could be the painter, creating newness in their mind to showcase to the world what beauty can be reformed as. You could be the paint or even the paintbrush, feeling heavy in the paint, but also knowing that once you are put onto a canvas, it is now released. Whatever you feel, you can accomplish. Whoever you are meant to be, you shall become. And I want everybody to take a deep inhale for 1, 2, 3, and hold it at the top. And open your mouths and sigh it out. And we'll place one hand on our heart, where our fire resides, and we'll place another hand on the belly, where the air resides, to remind ourselves that these two coexist together. With too much fire, it can pollute the air, and with too much air, we can dilute our fire. To remain consistent in our bodies, in our mind, and in our breath, and in our fire. To remain whole, to remain still when we need to, and to transition at those moments that we know is our time to move beyond and grow beyond the things that are us. We'll take one more deep inhale for 1, 2, 3. Hold the breath at the top, feeling our fire and our air. And exhale one last time. And we bring our hands together, palms facing one another at the heart center. And we bow our own head towards our own heart, thanking our mind, body, and breath and spirit for connecting and allowing us a moment of rest and restoration and reflection. And then we bring those thumbs into the middle of our forehead and gently glide our head back into its natural position, protecting our necks. There's a beautiful quote by Toni Morrison in the book Beloved, that we must protect our necks because nobody else will. So I offer you this. Hold your head high, hold your neck strong. In the moments that you feel that your head is weak, always take rest in solitude in your own body. Ashe to our ancestors, ashe for our elders, ashe for the babies who have yet to be born, and ashe for all of our bodies who have come together in this moment to be present for a moment of reflection and connection. Thank you so much. I pray that you all find safety this weekend amongst your communities and moments of rest and healing that will allow you to guide into your next week safely and strongly in your personhood, in your voice, and who you are to become. Releasing this week because it no longer serves us in our personhood. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you all. Thank you. Ashe, ashe, ashe.
Wow, thank you so much, Brandon. We so do appreciate this. Whew, that was such good respite. Right on time. Such good energy flowing throughout the room and throughout our Zoom. Thank you so much for joining us and being present. I see the tears in person and beyond. You're not alone in that. God, you can dab them with me. Dab them with me now. It's okay. I see you. I see you, friends. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you for joining us. It's such an incredible gift to have you as our program manager. Welcome,
we hear you. So we're going to be breathing on the Instagram and all the things. So please stay tuned for more things.
So grateful. I see all the hearts going up. I see all the loving emojis. Now's the time to share our feedback and our praise for Brandon in the chat, or you're welcome to unmute and share a little popcorn around as you share out a little bit about what this experience has been for you. We're now going to be going into overtime. So we'll be able to do a little chatting aloud and here in the space. Take a look at some of the artwork. We have Henrietta's Garden here in the space. And I want to leave us with this quote, this affirmation. It's interesting you brought up Toni Morrison. I'm quoting Audre Lorde.
Yeah.
And the quote for today, or our closing quote rather, is, "We are all in the process of becoming, and you are the one that you are looking for." Audre Lorde. Those two are just really close and near to my heart, and those are the words that I'll let this space return in affirmation to. And we'll just popcorn around. Our friends in our Zoom world, would you like to share? So I see us in the chat. I see Beautiful. I see Brandon. Thank you.
Yes, thank y'all.
I see some good business here. I've got my quote, and I'll pass the popcorn around. If you want to unmute, you're welcome to. If you want to post, you're welcome to. Oh, I see you're unmuted. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I needed this so much. I didn't know what I was gonna find here, and the kind of release and the kind of space and community that I haven't experienced, and I'm looking forward to experiencing. And it's magic. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I also am like, it's Cancer season. I'm a Cancer. We're at the end of it. Let's leave it. I'm gonna celebrate the end of 2 years. Try it out. But thank you all so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, all praise. I love it. All right. Anybody else care to unmute and share? Anybody else in the chat?
I'll unmute really quick while no one's at the door, but thank you so much. This was a very amazing space. I didn't know what would come out of this for me, but so much did, and I'm trying to like you gotta get it together here at work. Unfortunately, because crying is not, I don't know, just weird in like society, seeing people cry and stuff. But yeah, this is just an amazing space, and I didn't know what would come out of it for me, and the exercise that you did, like I can't wait to really get home and just reflect more and journal and dive deeper into the activity that you gave us. So thank you.
Thank y'all.
And continue to be yourself all the time, and don't be apologetic for it.
And take up space at work. If you need to let them know that you need another 20, 30 minutes before you can re-enter so that you can be your whole self, have them maneuver with you, because that's what we need in our workspaces, of being like, this is where I'm at right now, and I just need an extra 20 minutes, you know, because there's people on your team who can navigate that 20 to 30 minutes for you. And I think we as Black and brown folk, we have to remember that. Like, I'm a part of this team, I'm not the individual, and there's somebody else who's either doing this work right now or got the 20 minutes to support me. And I think sometimes we have to remind ourselves to lean into that, because that support has not often been given in that manner. Or if we show up crying in this way, we feel like people will try to dig more into your personal business, and you can still have that same boundary of like, I don't feel like sharing right now. I just truly need a moment to reset in my own personhood for the moment. Thank you. And just walk away. Don't even have any further conversation with them. Like, this is what I'm taking, right? Because we know that other people take time and release time in those minutes. So please take that time for yourself.
Thank you.
I also reflect the chat. The energy is just so immaculate and so powerful and so deep, and I feel so held even via Zoom. I'm short of words. I didn't know I didn't know what I didn't know. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, thank you all.
So thank you all. So continuing to popcorn around our closing words of encouragement, affirmation, and reflection, I will go to Cindy.
This was great. This was very much needed. I appreciate it. I appreciate you
Thank you, Richie.
And our new friend.
Okay. I just want to say this. I'm happy that I just walked in on this. I came to San Francisco about 5 years ago, and I'm just, still looking for a community. It's kind of hard sometimes, and so, I was looking at the flyers, and I'm just really happy that, we're doing this.
Yes.
This is amazing. It's needed. So.
We gotta get you on the email list too.
I was
so
gonna
you
say,
know
yeah,
what
you
I mean.
gotta continue to
Before you
join
leave.
us.
Yes.
You couldn't see us, but we saw you looking.
Yeah, we were
like,
we were all trying to like still be in the Zoom, and then we're like, come on, cousin, come into the room.
This is for you.
This is for you.
This is for you. Yeah, so grateful to have you. And then Judy.
I'm just feeling extra grounded and appreciative of the space and time to reflect and I'll come over. I'll wander.
Okay.
I just the time to be creative in a different way and to have some space to reground. And playing of what is this called?
It's a hand drum.
Hand drum?
Yeah.
It's
See me?
beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
I gave it up because I played it for my brother at our grandfather's final resting spot, and he had never heard it. And I was just like, oh, just take it. And so I hadn't had one, and Sydney surprised me this past Christmas with a new one.
It was
You gotta
so
play your
beautiful.
drum.
Yeah, beautiful. And just appreciating, just the creativity shared today, and just to be in a space where I could, be able to share in a different way and reflect for myself and ground.
I'm glad.
So
Y'all the first people I played this for in a few months.
Oh, what a gift to us.
I was like, I'm pulling out all my tricks.
Including that singing voice, okay? You didn't slide.
I was like, I got y'all. I was like, okay, we gonna do this, Mona. I was like, telling Mona, like, I got it. Like,
beautiful.
Mona was like, what you need me to do? I was like, sit there and be beautiful. Like, I got this. Like, what? Yes.
Yes, you do.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank y'all. Thank y'all for this space. Yes.
And I'll popcorn us to Shanita.
No, thank you so much, B. Like I said, when I first sat down, I was like, I need every bit of what
Yes.
this space.
Just.
Because I do. And young Judy knows I set up my crying. Today's not a crying day. But I was really emotional. I felt emotional, and I know I have emotions to address.
Yeah, maybe tonight. Be a crying night. Maybe not today, but tonight.
It's a lot. When I start crying, one, I can't stop, and I look crazy. So,
And we're here.
and thank you for everybody on Zoom too, for the things that you all shared. From some of the things that you all shared, I started adding to my emotional wellness things, and look forward to expounding more into some of these things. And immediately after I felt all grounded, I'm over here putting out fires on my email. And one, I started typing, and I said, hold on, I was just breathing and stuff. Let me breathe. And so, yes.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you. I
Saying
appreciate
the
you.
goodness.
I appreciate y'all. Shout out to everybody on Instagram Live. Y'all our first live.
Hey, Insta.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are on live.
Yes.
I
Yes.
told y'all I got
We're
it.
doing it. We're doing it.
I was like, we're going to reach the people in the community through all our platforms.
That's
so.
fabulous.
Yes, we are out here winning. Okay, fantastic. Well, now that we're into our social hour, and able to kind of just hang out, you're welcome to continue the conversation. I have one question for Brandon, which is,
What brought you to doing this kind of healing work?
Literally, I think it was definitely before the pandemic. When I think my grandfather was in that transition. Sorry if I get emotional. He was like literally my best friend, and once he transitioned, like I was literally in Cali. Like I'll never forget, I was at a social justice conference, and me and him had just talked on the phone, and then my parents called me like right after we got off the phone on that FaceTime, and they was like, yeah, he's gone. And so I was just like, oh, I gotta breathe, right? And I remember I was in grad school, and I was like, none of these professors care about me, except for like maybe 1 or 2 professors. Like all the Black professors had left the university, so it was just like a you in it by yourself moment. And so I found this beautiful Black yoga studio. It was the only Black-owned yoga studio in upstate New York, and so I started going. And like everyone was like, "We always see you in the community," and so like they gave me my first scholarship to become a yoga instructor, and from there I was just like, "This is it." Like I can touch so many people on this yoga mat, and when anybody would come to my yoga classes, they would just fall asleep on the mat. And I fell in love seeing Black people sleeping. And it sounds so weird, but it was just like so at rest. And they would like, I would have to like start playing my drum because I'm like, okay, y'all, I done kept the studio open a little bit longer than they wanted, but it was like to have that extra 15 to 20 minutes of people just taking a nap was so peaceful. And then all of my students, like literally I'm a gay mother, so one of my children came to me and was like, I need to learn how to breathe, like I need to learn how to meditate. And since I was living on the campus that I worked at, he always popped over at night and we would have our nightly meditations together. And then we started extending that to the larger Black student community. And then we just started like, me and him would just be traveling together. He would be like, I got your bag in your wagon. I'm like, come on, child. And so I'm so thankful for all of my kids. Because my kids were that, like, as a queer person, that like, oh, I'm never going to have kids. This is the third. So those Black college students who are still with me, and they all text me this morning like, good luck. They have pushed me because I was the only one in college, right? Like, I was the only queer person who was out doing these things, trying to find space. And when you're the only one, you're so alone, you know. And then that story kept playing for everybody that I've come in contact with. Like, I was the only Black person in this yoga class in college. I was the only Black person in this birthing space. And so once I learned that the yoga is going to lead me to like becoming the doula, so I was like, okay, let me take my first perinatal yoga class. And so I'm like, okay, now, like, yes, like Black birthing bodies do need this because we wouldn't know about these certain type of pillows or things for ease when we rest and things. So from there, it was like, okay, well, if I'm taking care of the birthing bodies, I gotta take care of the babies and the kids. So then I went to my kids' yoga teacher training, and I was like, okay, there was a child in there who was in a wheelchair, and I was like, okay, accessible yoga is next, because how do I do this and teach people from a chair? And I haven't stopped. And I'm gonna keep going until I get into that space of being able to create my own yoga teacher training, which incorporates the doula work and all the things that I have just done, like how do you create an Ayurvedic diet and what does that mean? Like, should I start tongue scraping? Like, you know, the different things that we don't think about affect our health. And then you be like, oh, I just use a tongue scraper. Now my mouth feels a little cleaner to like handle those moments when I need to tell somebody I need these 20 minutes, you know? So yeah, that's like, if it wasn't for Black youth that I saw struggling when I was in upstate New York, like I probably wouldn't even have thought about it. And then I was that Black youth, right? I was the one struggling, and I was like, I needed something else to breathe into my ownness and into my personhood, because it's like y'all know how vibrant I am, and it's the haters, you know, the people that we talk about we need to release. And you just sit there and you be like, oh, but sometimes you're just truly stuck around those people, whether it be work or whatever those relationships will be. And you're just trying to give your best. And these people are really like taking everything from you. And they might like have those ones like, oh, you should think about this, you know? And it's like, okay, but why did you get to that conclusion for me? You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I became a doula. My old supervisor, who was not that great of a human being, was like, you should just randomly one day, like, you should become a death doula. And I just kind of like looked, and I was just like, okay. But before there's death, there's life. So how did you just decide to push that? So that's when I was like, okay, well, let me look into being a full spectrum doula. You know, of like all the things. sometimes those relationships that we need to release are actually telling us what we need to move into, to move away from them. And we just maybe not even take offense to it, but it just didn't come out how it should have came out. You know what I'm saying? How if you had said this in a different way, I probably could have received this in a different way. But you're still helping me get there, and I can still release you at the same time, moving into this new space, so that this new space isn't impacted by that. So yeah, that's where we at.
Okay,
That's where we are at, and hoping to protect beautiful Black women and femme folk and queer and trans folk in this space who need it.
Shay, thank you so much for that, Brandon. Thank you for that mission. Thank you for that memory. Thank you for sharing your values and purpose statements. I appreciate your authenticity and your engagement. That was really beautiful and inspiring to hear. You know how you are led here by choice, by experience, and by value, by purpose, and that the intuition has led you to the place that is most healing for you and for the people that you engage in the world. And for that, I truly thank you.
Yes. Yeah, every time Mona opens her mouth, I start crying.
Well, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for our social hour and time, which we even went a little over on that. So thank you everyone for staying present. You're welcome to unmute or chat as you please, and you're welcome to take time. Those of us who are in the space to look around. We have this lovely premiere here, Henrietta's Garden.
Yes.
And an extension of our Daughters of Henrietta Lacks. It's really a phase 2.
Yes.
And this is a little preview of some more work that'll be to come.
Yes.
Soon as we have a September date. So thank you all so much. We'll see you, first and third Fridays of the month or when we are here. I'm so grateful to have had you. You could be anywhere, but you chose to be here with us, and I deeply appreciate it. We deeply appreciate it. So take good care, be safe in your journeys forward, and you're welcome to stay on screen till you don't want to be no more.
Yeah. And know that the center is open Monday through Friday from 9 to 4. So if you need a space, we have spaces. You just hop in. We love to see you.
Shay, thank you.
Right.
One more
Yeah,
round of
thank
applause.
y'all. We did this together.
It's so good.
Yes.